that's not the start, that's the end. To learn how and where the perfect steak comes from, we need to start at the start. Further back than this, further back than this. We need to travel. And today we're travelling to a farm outside the town of Gundagai in New South Wales, Australia. And we're going to learn why everything starts with these guys.
So today our goal is to learn a little bit more about where the perfect steak comes from. In everything you do, I think the deeper understanding you have, the better you can become. Our goal is to master the art of cooking the perfect steak, and to do that, I think we need to start at the start. We've been privileged today to have had an introduction through the Certified Australian Angus Beef Program to one of Australia's top Angus cattle breeders, Susie Chisholm. And we're here at Susie's magnificent property in southern New South Wales just to spend some time and to get an insight into what it really takes to put that perfect steak on the plate. So, good morning, Susie.
Good morning.
I'm delighted to be here, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I think, just before we get started, could you just tell us a little bit about what you do here and how that translates into putting that perfect piece of steak on the plate?
I'm a cattle breeder and have been breeding for the last 25 years. So I'm constantly trying to improve the eating quality of my steer herd and the fertility of my female herd.
So why don't we go for a little bit of a drive and look at some cattle, and we can just talk a bit more about it and see if we can really get more of an insight into that.
Okay.
That'd be great. Let's go. Well, Susie, we've come for a bit of a drive out here, and here we are with some of your heifers, and don't they look just absolutely superb? Tell us a bit about these girls and where they're up to in the breeding cycle and the life cycle.
Well, these are the driving force of my genetics. There are 200 head here.
Yeah.
We will AI on the 12th of October, artificially inseminate, that is.
Right.
On the 12th of October. So I'm really pushing their condition.
Oh, yes.
To build them up to a good body weight, so that
So it's pretty green here, but there's not a lot of body in this feed by the look of it. That's why you're supplementing them?
That's right. I'm supplementing them with hay. As you can see, they're covered in it. And also we feed them with joining pellets at night.
How old are these heifers now? What age would...
They're 12 months.
12 months, are they? All that we're doing here is working towards getting that perfect piece of steak on that plate at the end of the day. And how important is, you know, that really strong female line and having those genetics just absolutely where you want them?
Well, the female line to me is more important actually than the steer.
Why is that?
Because it's fertility that drives your business.
Yeah. And what happens to those calves? Do you keep a portion of those calves? You keep the females,
yes.
Yeah.
And the steers all go to the feedlot.
Okay.
So the more Susie spoke and the more I listened, the more I learned. As the day went on, a couple of things became very clear to me. The first thing is the obvious one, that the perfect steak doesn't just happen by accident. So much care and attention to detail goes into producing it. Every morning, these cattle men and women get up thinking about what's best for their cattle, and every night they go to bed thinking the same thing. Any great chef will tell you that they put love into their cooking. But as you can see here, when it comes to producing the perfect steak, that love starts right back at the farm gate. The other main thing I really learnt on the day that wasn't so obvious to me before, and I think it's a real insight into where the whole cattle industry is today, is the incredible amount of science that goes into producing the perfect steak. Take, for instance, marbling. We know that beautifully marbled beef eats really well, but we may not have realised just how much work goes into getting that perfect amount of marbling into our meat. Susie is a member of Breed Plan, which is a genetic evaluation program. It scientifically measures every aspect of the animal so that only the best are chosen to go on. One of the things Susie looks for most is marbling.
I have always been chasing marbling.
Always chasing marbling.
If the bull is not marbling, if it's marbling below breed average, I wouldn't be bothered.
You won't be using that bull.
If we look here at just one page of a breed plan report, we can see in the IMF column, which stands for intramuscular fat or marbling, some bulls have a plus score, some have a negative score. The higher the IMF, the more marbling that bull will put into the steak and the better eating it will be. This is no longer guesswork, and I really think Susie summed it up perfectly when she said,
really reading the beast from the inside out. So instead of just looking at it and thinking what a nice smooth back it has, you can see what its eye muscle is.
Just know that if you bring that animal into your herd using the artificial insemination, and then you bring those animals through on a rising plane of nutrition, then you finish them in a feedlot, you're just guaranteed, aren't you, to get a great result.
Perfect steak.
Wow,
yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Susie. Susie's organised us a piece of Angus fillet to take home and cook, and this is absolutely as good as it gets. So I'm really looking forward to getting home and doing justice to this beautiful piece of beef. Thank you very much.
Well, that is the best.
Yeah. Wow. Tremendous stuff.